that far-off eruption and crashing surf a mere mirage?
The legend of an enchanted mythical island has captured the heart of many oceanic explorers.
But this tropical island has evaded all those searching for it.
It's the mythical home of hula girls, volcanoes, and exotic drinks.
It's a place of abundance and joyous comfort.
After searching the 7 seas, the secret island has finally emerged.
It's a Polynesian paradise in Long Beach.
We're celebrating Pele, the Hawaiian goddess of fire and volcanoes.
Revel in this mysterious grotto with fine food and liquid libations merged with the sound of the islands.
Enjoy its atmosphere of contentment and joy.
More than an illusion, Secret Island is tiki authenticity at its finest.
Meet our ambassadors of Aloha with a craft cocktail in hand.
Enjoy the tempting tastes and potent potions of Secret Island.
Guaranteed to relax your inhibitions.
Hey everybody, welcome to Eclectic American Roots. Today's show is the Roots of Tiki Music and Culture, Volume 3. In Volumes 1 and 2, we covered a wide slice of Tiki lifestyle, with special tributes to Martin Denny and Mr. Tiki Head. We had conversations with Shag, Charles Phoenix, Bamboo Ben, and Otto von Stroheim. Spike Marble also hosted musical appearances from the Surfrajettes, Tiki Yaki Orchestra, Hula Girls, and Jason Lee. And we learned cocktail recipes from Trader Sam's and the Tonga Hut. Today we welcome Surfer Joe from Italy to talk about why Tiki culture and surf music go hand in hand. Our host, Jason Lee, will chat with famed podcaster Adrian from inside the Desert Oasis Room, and we'll learn how the Surfaris developed the original Wipeout from Bob Berryhill himself. Jason Lee is a writer and producer in TV and film, and also records, supplying a vintage guitar sound with a modern twist. He's made it a personal goal to get the surf guitar and 1960s instrumental music recognized as a more viable genre of music. He not only promotes surf music, he also provides educational classes and has led one of YouTube's top instructional video companies teaching guitar techniques for surf, rockabilly, and spaghetti westerns through user-friendly tutorials. Jason Lee has developed his lifelong musical passion into a 14-piece ensemble, Jason Lee and the Black Tide Orchestra, a more exotic and classic sound with haunting and compelling originals and covers. But this guitar player promises that the raucous sounds of the Riptides will always be there, to get you up and get you dancing.
That's right, kids. You're watching Goon Beach. Now you can be part of the action with the coolest place around.
Wow!
Finally! Jason Lee and the Riptides playset! With Go-Go Wagon!
That was San Diego's Jason Lee and the Riptides, and the man behind the music is our host today. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Lee.
I'd like to introduce Jeff Big Tiki Dude Hansen, known all throughout Southern California as the official surf music aficionado, let alone around the world, to be honest. And Jeff has done an amazing job over the last 15 years, 20 years, curating shows, putting together compilations, running the Surf Guitar 101 Festival, and today he's got something really special for us in the way of a compilation that only he will know to do the right songs and the right history on surf music, especially here in Southern California and all over.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff, Big Tiki Dude. I'd like to thank Chris for inviting me to sit in on the show again and kind of give you a little bit of a heads up on the mix of tiki music and surf music and how it kind of goes together and crosses the genre borders, and if it's legit or blasphemy. I remember back in the 90s there was a lot of tiki people that didn't want surf music involved in the scene at all. And I am happy to say that through Tiki Oasis and Auto and a few other events that it is infiltrating over the years, and I'm quite happy with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to play you 6 videos, and we're going to be explaining about why the music is a crossover of the two, and then also like with the art and maybe who's involved in it and the vibe on it, how it's involved, and why it's a little bit more tiki than just straight ahead surf. So let's start off with the Huntington Cads with Enchantment. Alrighty, so we're going to start it off with 2 bands that the tiki artist Shag was involved in. He was the rhythm guitar player in the Huntington Cads, and he was the lead guitar player in the Tiki Tones. So let's start it off with the Huntington Cads and Enchantment. Alrighty, and we're back. So that was, as I said, 2 songs by bands that featured Shag, the tiki artist. The lead guitar player in the Huntington Cads was the amazing Chris Barfield, and he's working on some new stuff that's really got me itching to be hearing what he's working on now. The second song we heard there was Topple the Moai by the Tiki Tones. I used to see those guys a lot back at the Doll Hut in Anaheim in the late 90s and early 2000s. Alrighty, up next, another band that was very, very influential for me in the crossover of the surf and the tiki thing. It's the Blue Hawaiians. They used to play at the Lava Lounge in Hollywood back in the 90s and early 2000s. And this is their amazing The Last Days of Summer.
So our next guest, I will call the most internationally traveled surf guitar player of our modern time, spreading his love of surf guitar all over Europe and the States. His love of tiki and surf guitar is prominent at his own Surfer Joe Festival and Surfer Joe Diner in Livorno, Italy. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Lorenzo Surfer Joe Valdembrini.
Thank you, Jason. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Coming here for a meeting from Italy. There is not the most splendid background I'm in, but I'm in the headquarters, logistic headquarters of Surfing Industries. So where I'm at today, but I'm glad to be with you. So I'm very happy and thankful for having me, wanting me on this program that you have. I mean, it's pretty exciting. And thanks for doing it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here. I remember on the last episode that I was lucky enough to be a part of. It was really cool during the first broadcast of it that when Big Tiki Dude, Jeff Hansen, was, playing different surf songs, you were there in the comments. Like every question, you're answering people's questions. And I thought, man, would he be cool for another episode? And then now that I'm helping host this one, you're a perfect fit, man. And your love for surf guitar and tiki is amazing.
Yes, it is. It is. I have dedicated quite a long time to all these things, like you, of course. Me mostly on the surf music, surf guitar, and everything. You are more of a tiki guy than me, but of course, the two things nowadays they join each other very, very well. They stay together very well.
Yeah. So let me ask you this for my first question. There's a lot of people at home now picking up the guitar this year, especially. So what are some of the things that you did, in the last few months that was really cool for guitar players at home?
Well, I will not spend time to discuss about the situation which we're in. I've done my last show in California at the end of February, by the way.
Hey, and Lorenzo, tell us about the last time you were out here. I think that was mid-February for the Stellar Show's Surf and Turf show. Is that right, out here in California?
That was fun. Thanks, Chris from Stellar Shows, and of course, my friend, the Tiki Dude, was always there. That was first of all, it was a fantastic place. The first time that I went into that venue, and it was great. And I've been talking a lot with Jeff eventually to do more and more events in there because there's a great room. And the show was fun. I have one thing that I remember well about that show. Is the first time, I've been touring with Paul Johnson. I can remember 2, 3, 4 times. It was the first time that Paul Johnson and friend, but it's the first time that I was playing Mr. Moto in front of Paul. It's one of the very few times that I played that. And so I have a good memory of that. But that was a very good show. I really thank him for them. I hope to be back in California soon. Because, coming to California is always like, is the mecca for whoever plays guitar, the way I see it. And the people is always fantastic, and the shows are always good, at least for what I've seen. And but yeah, I hope to work again with Stellar soon, Chris, because that was a fun show to me, really good. And when I arrived back home, everybody know what happened, but it's good. We continue, we carry on. I had a few tours canceled. Hopefully they will come back. I had to be back in the States actually 3 times. And 2 of these times back in California. Once actually I was very excited because I had to be on tour with Frankie the Pool Boys once more. But what I've been doing, I've been trying to write music like most people, trying to at least to find the brain to write music. But,
I know that you had a lot of fans in Mexico, especially that kept wanting to learn, the guitar riffs from your songs, and fans from other places that were requesting that too. So I saw you put out some really cool interactive things to let people that are playing guitar at home right now learn your music.
Hello everybody, this is Surfer Joe. The song that we're checking today is out of my Swell of Duel album that came out in 2018 for Dionysus Record and Surfer Joe Music. The song is called Hiroshi no Subarashi Ramen. Very strange title, Japanese. And it actually tells a real story because on our first tour in Japan, our friend Eddie Ugata, guitar player of the Japanese surf band the El Caminos, after a show in Kobe, brought us to eat the most fantastic ramen we've ever had. And overexcited, I wrote a song about those ramen. It's dedicated to Eddie. And I'm going to show you how to play it. You can download the backing track at the website surfmusic.net/play as usual.
Awesome. So I remember a few years ago coming out to your big festival, the Surfer Joe Festival right on the beach in Italy. And I really thought of you for this episode just because of that experience. And I remember getting to go out there and teach next to Shag. And I thought, man, this is a big thing for you to have Shag come out, really the top artist in our whole subculture, and come out to Italy and teach and play that night. So that was a big deal, I think, for you having, Shad come over. And, I guess my next question to you is, how do you see the Tiki influence over there in your part of Europe, especially at your diner, Surfer Joe Diner, and then upstairs in the Tiki Room?
Well, it happened that I have here. I hope you can see. Some of you had it in like real metal version. You printed of that, the poster that Shag did for the festival that year, 2017, and it was absolutely great. It was just an occasion that we managed to have the Huntington Cats come in, so I took the chance to offer him to come over and participate somehow, because all the big names that we bring in, if we can call them big in our small environment, although Shag is a big name, big for not just for our small scene, of course. I try to involve all these persons and the legend doing just more than the concert. I would like just doing the tutorial thing. See what happened with Randy Olden, for example. With Paul Johnson, of course, and all the legends. And it was a pleasure because it's the first time that actually we were doing a seminar regarding the artwork, the graphics, and Shag accepted to do that with pleasure, and it was a big success. I was very proud of that. It happened, it was very lucky that condition, that situation. Like it happened the 2 years before with the 10th anniversary festival. It was in 2015. But if you remember, there was a lineup that was massive. There was basically everybody. Santos Pilgrim, Bambi Molesters, Master Chops, and you got the Kilaueas, Boss Martians, and the Lost Acapulco, and you got everybody. And it was just 1 year that it happened that some bands were already on tour. I got them. Some other, I call them, it just happened, very lucky here. And I could consider the same here, even 2017. Remember, there was Shag, there were the 5, 6, 7, 8. There were a bunch of other artists that actually were drawing quite a lot of people. All I can remember, now going to talk about the Tiki thing, we always had quite a few designers doing the posters throughout the year. I've been using our good friend Fred Lammers many years. Then I've used a local guy, Tommy, a couple of times, and the great Steve Nazar, Steve doing the Town and Country. When Steve did the poster for the 2015, I told Steve, you need to give me a poster like the one that you were doing in the 80s. I want the fluo colors, and he did it. But with Shag, I noticed a massive interest from people, other designer from the area, local people even from Firenze, people that have even collaborated with us, and they are collaborating with magazines here locally and over Italy, calling us and asking when is Shag, because I want to come and see him in person. I want to buy the book. Everybody he was coming out with that new book. I saw an interest from people that was not exactly in our music scene. And that was a very interesting thing when this happened. It's very important for us because I think we have to attract, they have to put together new things and give the chance to show these people that are sort of new to the scene, showing what we're doing, the music and everything. In fact, I think that this is a demonstration, like Luca, my brother, is always saying, that the music is only part of the game here. People come from the experience, so Shag, like many other activities that are not exactly related to music that we've done at our festival, are all important because all these help to draw people, to bring people to this scene.
We could play a little bit more footage of your festival and maybe, of the beach in Livorno there.
People that were not wearing Hawaiian shirt now will come with the Aloha shirt at the festival. There's a lot of things going on. Of course, much of that is related to the pop culture of Tiki, obviously. But even the seminars, like the one that John Paul did a few years ago, explaining the real history of the Tiki, went very well. So, people know more and more.
That's awesome, man. So I want your take. I want your perspective because I count you at the top here for pushing modern surf music and making it a very viable thing in a modern era. But where do you see surf music going in the next 10 years? Where would you like it to go?
Well, as much as you know, Jason, I'm a very traditional guy. I play surf music the old way. And I think that to understand clearly what surf music was, we had to leave in 1962 in Southern California because there was a Southern Californian phenomenon. There's nothing much to say about that. But I appreciate a lot what happened in the past 30, 40 years, all this contamination of surf music with everything, everybody, me included. I think about playing traditional surf music, but really I'm playing a revisited version of surf music. I hope it's gonna stay strong. I see there are still new surf bands coming up. Some of them are fading out, but I noticed that many bands are not just fading out, changing and doing something else, like it happened at the end of the 90s. Many bands who started with surf to then say, oh no, surf, let's do something else. No, now bands are starting to surf, stay in surf. Maybe they split, they don't exist anymore, but it's not anymore like a place to start. Right now, I noticed that when people talks about surf, mention surf music, they really refer to the, the Jaguar Jazzmaster, Stratocaster, reverb sound, all this kind of things. So there's a little comeback to the traditional surf. So I don't know, it's going to stay. We'll see what happens. Hope to do again the Surfer Joe Summer Festival next year, and we'll see. But I have good and positive energies.
Yeah, I like that, man. You and I think definitely get along really well with, always moving forward, always working on something, right? Always working on a project, making sure that we've got something on our calendar, no matter, what's happening in the world. So that's super awesome. Just to always see your hustle, and you're doing an amazing job out there, man. So when things all, we all go back to normal, you're going to be there doing the festival and just, pushing on, and your diner. I can't thank you enough, Lorenzo, for doing this. I really wanted to bring the international perspective of what's happening in Europe, and you are it. You are truly the #1 guy that, in my opinion, can somehow represent Americana out there and proper surf music that crosses over into Tiki. So thanks, man. The last question is the most important. Okay, pineapple on your pizza. Do you do it?
Oh, show is over.
That's it.
No. Oh, do we have another couple of hours here to discuss this matter, which is the most important discussion over the Facebook? Well, I have friends even in California that defend my point that pineapple doesn't have to go on the pizza. But, there's a long list of people who are ready to offend me for this thing. But no, I am definitely for the no on the pineapple. No, no to the pizza.
Guys, make sure to follow Lorenzo on all the really cool things on his social media, on his website, and everything he's going to be doing probably within the next year.
Thanks, Jason. Thank you, everybody. See you next time.
What was it, a year ago? I'm in one of your music videos, and I'm eating barbecue in your backyard with you.
Yeah, and you're in my studio. I completely gave you my
studio
to do an episode in, and nobody's allowed in my studio. Like, no one can walk in there. And I just thought, you know what? Like, this is going to be, I think, the 3rd episode, even related maybe to me. But it's time to just open the place up to you. We're real welcoming of you at the house here. But more importantly, just give you the whole studio. And then what did you have, 9 guests, 10 on the music video shoot?
We rotated in the band, we rotated in the dancers, and the thing that I am most flattered about is not only was I allowed to work in your studio, which is a huge honor, but you trusted me with, you walked away and you just left me and said, hey, whatever you need, you just do what you need to do. And so that's super flattering,
Yeah, but that's
the kind of relationship we've developed from having the podcast. I've been able to develop relationships like that with other people, having had them on the show.
I can tell it's really cool, because I think I've told you so many times that when I'm training on my bike every day, I listen to your podcast, so I can generally get through them. And I think you've done such a good job with format, with the interviewees that you have. It's like an hour's gone by, and I'm like, why is it over? But it's an hour. I mean, it truly is nowadays for short Twitch, attention spans for everybody. You're doing something that's in my media too, that I do, is very, long format, and you've done it. You pulled it off where you can pull off these. I mean, shit, I would want to talk to Sven for 2 hours.
Thanks. And I just did last week.
That's amazing, man. I mean, again, the roster that you've had, and Bosco lives down the street from me, but it's even from your podcast, I know, just all the little details of, his history, which is really cool. And you've been able to kind of, in a really, nice way, pull that out. Because I'm not a mixologist whatsoever. Give me a painkiller, I'm good to go. I'm drinking a coffee right now with, some rum in it. But because I've watched you or listened to you mix so many drinks now inside the Desert Oasis and bring in so many special guest bartenders where you totally know your counts of everything and you know what to add. The two-part question is what is your favorite drink, and then cocktail to make, especially for tiki, right? And then two, what drink would you recommend to an up-and-coming rum aficionado?
Okay, so first part, my favorite cocktail is not even something that I can make myself. It is a raised mistake, and it comes from the tiki tea. And what I love about that cocktail is that it has such a unique story. It was a drink that was being served to somebody who normally ordered another drink, and then Ray Buin, the owner and founder of the Tiki Tea, mistakenly put the wrong syrup in it, and this drink was born. And it has such a really delicious tropical vibe to it that, when this drink was made by accident, he went to throw it out, but the person who ordered it said, no, you know what, let me have everybody in the bar take a sip and see what they think. And everybody loved it. And they said, we need to name this thing. You need to put this on the menu. And they called it the Raised Mistake. It has a secret ingredient. It's a syrup that I don't know the ingredients to and how they make. And that's what makes that drink a secret and very unique. And the whole thing about, the story of the Tiki Tea and Ray being one of Don the Beachcomber's original bartenders and how the drink came about and all that. The fact that it's delicious and it's the only place in the world where you can get it. Everything about it makes it special. So that would be my favorite drink. But the drink that I think that everyone should try if they're new and they're just getting into rum, and it's even a very easy drink to make, I think is a basic daiquiri. And the reason being is a 3-ingredient drink. So it's rum, lime, and sugar. And the drink will change no matter whatever rum you use, the drink will change. And you can change the sugar as well. So if you're using a simple syrup, it'll be different than if you're using a honey syrup or if you're using a demerara syrup. And all you're doing is changing the kind of syrup or changing the kind of rum, and the drink changes. And so if you really want to know how a rum behaves in a cocktail, you make a simple daiquiri, and it'll give you an idea.
Yeah, just learning so much about cocktails from you on the show, the Buin's history, Tiki Tea, and all that. I wouldn't have gone out.
And I'm not a mixologist either. I've learned things along the way, I'm a home bartender. I've never run a bar, owned a bar, or anything like that. So.
You're a home bartender that has definitely taken it to the next level.
Oh, well, that's very nice of you to say. Thanks.
Yeah, well, this has been amazing, man. Where can everyone find you? So, where do we find your podcast? One, where do we find your website? And then two, I'd like to remind people that Adrian, does do this off donations too. So he's got sponsors, but really, podcast wise for the audio, that's a big thing to always click that donate button. So where can we find you, Adrian?
Thank you for that. So my website is desertoasisroom.com. I load up all of my new episodes there, but the podcast can be found in all media outlets.
I've always wanted to do this to you because you always get to ask your guest this question. I've been wanting to ask you this question, and you're already laughing. If you could have any superpower, Adrian, what would it be and why?
I love it. Okay, so I have a couple answers, and just because I've heard this question, I asked this question a lot, and I've heard some really good answers. So I'm going to give you 3. Number 1, I'd love to be able to teleport, so that if I wanted to go to the Mai Kai for dinner, I could go to the Mai Kai for dinner and still be back home at a decent bedtime, or go to Hawaii for lunch or anything like that. Number 2, I'd love to be able to communicate with my pets, because sometimes I don't know what they're thinking and why they're doing what they're doing. And number 3, I'd love to be able to eat whatever I want without getting fat. So there you go.
Yeah, I think we all want number 3.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Adrian. You truly have been a special part of making this a multifaceted episode, and a lot of our newer viewers to this special are going to get to see what you've done over the last 4 years.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it.
So how'd you hear about this guy?
Johnny told me about him. He sure can throw a party.
Hi, I'm Kim Brandy. I'm the creator and founder of Deadhead Rum. I am also the CEO of Iconic Brands and Marketing and handle all of the sales and distribution in the United States from...
My name is Eduardo. I'm the general manager at Rums from Mexico. And it's a family-owned business, 3 generations. I'm the 3rd generation. I'm presenting Jorge Perez, who is our master blender with a lot of experience in the world of rum. He was for more than 10 years involved in the production and blending at Havana Club in Nevada, in Cuba. So our rums have a lot of flavor coming from that Caribbean tradition. 1, 2, 3.
Aloha folks, welcome to Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour, a special edition for Eclectic American Roots of Tiki and Culture and Music, and I think that's the whole name. I have been challenged to use our sponsor rum in a cocktail. And this is a cocktail, this is one of my favorite cocktails to make when I first got into making tiki cocktails. It's the Painkiller from 1971 from the Virgin Islands. And I thought this Deadhead rum would complement it nicely. So let's get into the cocktail. All right, so for this cocktail, we are going to use orange juice. And the best thing to do is to use fresh oranges because it's quick and easy to squeeze orange juice. We will be using 1 ounce of orange juice. And we will pour that into our mixing glass here. And then pineapple juice. Be sure to shake these if you're going to use these little Dole cans, and they are unsweetened, so they're great for tiki cocktails. We will be using 4 ounces of this Dole pineapple juice. So there's 2 there, and 2 here. All right, the fun ingredient is this weird coconut goo. There's a couple brands that you can use, but I like this stuff because it comes in this pour spout guy. And we'll be using 1 ounce. We will be using 1 ounce of this goo. All right, there we go. And you can just drop that in there. And if you have to use the back of a knife to kind of spoon it in, you can. This is a super simple cocktail, and it's really tasty. People don't really consider it a tiki cocktail. They call it more kind of tropical because it was developed in the British Virgin Islands. It's tough to say that. We're going to be using the Deadhead rum, and this is an aged rum. So traditionally you'd be using pussers for this kind of drink, but we will be using this Deadhead rum, and it's 2.5 ounces. So that was 2.5 ounces. There's the cocktail right there. And for this cocktail, we will be shaking it. So the best ice you can possibly use for tiki cocktails is from Sonic, the drive-thru. And if you go through the drive-thru and you ask for ice, they'll bring out a big bag for you. It's about $3 or something, or $2.70. Anyway, you're gonna fill up our shaker guy with ice. Pour that into that. Give it a smack and shake it. With this cocktail, I like to serve these in coconut mugs because they have the coconut goo. I have one of my vintage tiki coconut mugs here. And you fill it up. Top it off with more ice. get all this off your bar. And then I have a little salt and pepper shaker that I use with cinnamon and nutmeg. You just pour that in there. Garnish with a cinnamon stick. There's the painkiller with Deadhead rum. Aloha. If you'd like to see more of these cocktail videos, I have about 22 of them on the Hula Girls YouTube channel. So go check them out. I've got a lot of guests, Pinup Palmer and McBiff and all kinds of tiki artists and pinup models and all kinds of stuff. It's great. Hey Jason, thanks. On with the show.
Next up is our weekly video host, Big Sandy, rockabilly legend and musical historian, who has a special presentation for us.
Hello, sinners, friends, loved ones. Big Sandy here, Roots of Tiki 3. And I have a really fun mixed bag of goods for you here today. Starting with this rarity from my collection. A lot of people were turned on to this song by Tommy Mercer and the McBrides through the Cramps, who hipped a lot of people to some twisted, exotic, primitive sort of stuff over the years. But this version of this song hasn't been heard before. It's an alternate, I think it's the same take, but a different mix with the sound effects in overdrive. And it's kind of a popcorn rock and roll meets exotica. I'll send this one out to all the lava lovers out there. Tommy Mercer, Volcano Rock.
Sings with steam and shouts with a roar, dances with a flame and rocks with a floor. Her loud throat, her cymbals flew high, the fire and rock shot up in the sky. The birds flew higher out of the way, the mountain below started to sway. The people ran, the fishes they swam, as she started with the rock and roll jam. Volcano, volcano rock. Rocking the earth with a mighty loud quake. Her flame shot higher, rocks tumbled down. She dressed in her most glowing lava gown. The spray shook her off and blown. There was nothing left but her head was torn. The earth was rumbling from the big shock, but she kept right on with the rolling rock. Volcano, volcano rock.
Not.
Yeah. Bud Tutmark, right there from 1954, from Bud's TV show that ran in the Seattle area on a local TV station. Kohala March and Twilight Blues were those two songs. A box of those tapes were found in the bass player's closet and saved right before being thrown out. So salvaged, saved, and passed on to you here at Eclectic American Roots. A little bit of almost forgotten history. I dig it. Hope you do too. And now for this next combination of clips, we're going to go back from the 50s to the previous decade to Lonnie McIntyre and his orchestra. And it's sort of a reminder that the allure of the islands and all things exotic had been going on for decades, always mixing with the music of the day. The music for the islands would blend in with whatever was happening here in the mainland and creating a beautiful thing along the way. So let's take a look now at Mr. McIntyre and his band. But take special note of Halaloma and his steel guitar. Dig it. It's so cool.
Holo holo ka onni anna zahui la lavia halilo tuagu oi a pau pono na wa hello e kawana holo holo ka onni anna zahui la lavia halilo tuagu oi a pau pono na wa hello e tawana na ha wa ka holo holo ka onni anna zahui la lavia halilo Alavai ho'oi maka'au Wana tamasani heliulu Meuli sapaina me sahizona Mena sise e alla nui Alavai ho'oi maka'au Wana tamasani heliulu Meuli sapaina me sahizona Mena sise e alla nui Ha'ina tove hi Deuli ho ine hisa haua Step on the gas pal lavia halilo Keoni ne hisa huila Ha'ina ho lehi e tule Deuli ho ine kahau Step on the gas pal lavia halilo Keoni ne hisa huila Keoni ne hisa huila Ha'ina ho lehi e tule Deuli ho ine kahau Step on the gas now, going my way.
Sit on the shores of Waikiki. Sit by my side and I'll sing to thee. Sit under the stars and make love to me. Just don't sit on my ukulele. 46 on the top and around the back. Leilani's a bit like a little grass shack. She brings me shade when we sit by the sea. Just don't sit on my ukulele. She cracks the coconuts with her hips. So bring your lips and sit closer to me. Just don't sit on my ukulele. Oh, so bring your lips closer to me. Just don't sit on my ukulele.
On a tropical avenue, far away from it all, there's a happily call the house of singing bamboo. On the windier day, seems an orchestra plays on a musical piece for you, like a merry salute from a heavenly flute to the house of singing bamboo. So here I'll stay, nevermore to roam from a new old-fashioned South Sea. Ooh, you don't have to count sheep, that's for little Bo Peep. You can sleep till the sun peeps through. You can dream in a dream, for you know that your dreams come true. When you live in a house of singing bamboo.
Man, oh man, oh man. Another very rare clip, that one from Charles E. King's Hawaiians with the Hawaii House Girls. So good. Bravo, bravo. Then before that, I had to slip in one of my own there. A song that I recorded with the Martini Kings for the movie Camp Burlesque. That song being 462446. It was kind of fun. Hope you've enjoyed our little time together. Let's hang out, watch the rest of the show. I'm going to go mix myself a drink. I suggest that you do the same. But for now, bye-bye. Aloha.
I am so honored to present to you guys our next guest. He's an iconic fixture of modern hot rod tiki art, creating a genuine style that is instantly recognizable at all tiki events and more. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Big Toe Laura.
Hey everybody. Hey Jason, how's it going?
It's going good, man. It's thanks for being on episode 3, man. You're definitely an artist that I wanted to get on here, and it's going to be good to catch up with you, and we can see all the stuff you've been doing. So thank you for being here, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I really enjoyed the first 2 shows, so I'm completely stoked to be on with you guys.
Good, awesome, man. So I just want to get started with some really cool questions that I've always been intrigued about you, and I'm sure that a lot of other viewers that are particularly into, tiki might learn about you. So when I did further research on you, I was really excited to learn that you did art direction for OP and Maui and Sons, and as a to me as a 90s kid growing up in Southern California, that was really cool to see that you did that, because those are come on, Ocean Pacific, and I was wearing that stuff, man. So that was super cool, and that leads me to my first question is, how does an artist like yourself currently go from art direction and clothing design in the surf and skate and snow industry, and then move into, what I would call for you lowbrow, highbrow hot rod tiki art in the medium that you work with now?
Wow. Well, I grew up in Southern California, and I was a little surf rat, and so my introduction to art was Mad Magazine and Surfer Magazine, and every summer my family would go down to stay at San Leo State Park in Encinitas, North County, San Diego, and I would see those posters, most like from Rick Griffin and Evans and some other guys, and those posters, those surf posters that would be stapled to the telephone poles, was like the greatest thing ever. So that was my introduction to art. So I started drawing a lot as a kid, and I went to art school, and I was like fine art and commercial art. And when I got out of school, I looked around, and I wasn't really interested in what was happening in the fine art world, so I went into commercial art. And I just sort of gravitated towards the action sports world, surfing and skating and snowboarding, and because that's where I saw my people. So I worked in surfwear for decades, and supported my family that way, and had a interesting life in Southern California. Did a lot of traveling, and so I art, as you mentioned, I art directed for OP and Hobie and Greg Knoll and Red Sand and Rusty, a couple other companies. I had a little design firm that did consulting, where we designed apparel packages and did marketing, ads and websites and stuff, and then also designed products, so skateboards and snowboards mostly. But I got to a point where I was just missing making art, that was, sort of sparked the childlike, stoke of my youth. So I started painting again, and the sort of 3 tiers to my art are, the hot rod thing. Growing up in Southern California, my dad was a hot rodder, and then surfing because I was a beach rat, and then tiki. I picked up on the way because working in the surf companies, we did a lot of traveling for research and development. So I went to most of the Hawaiian Islands and Fiji and Samoa and Tahiti and Australia, and sort of was immersed into Polynesian culture and really developed a love for all things South Pacific. So that's how I got into tiki, and I ran into a guy called Holden Westland at a Rick Griffin art show in Laguna Beach, and that kind of sort of got me more into tiki and designing tiki mugs, and I guess that was around 2006. So I would be there for whatever surf company I was working for, and then along the back of the wall there's this tiki facade, and Holden there, and I think he may have introduced me to the Piz, or I saw the Piz at a booth, like a skateboard company next to Holden's booths. That's so many rum drinks ago. I don't really remember, but I was exposed to that whole, pop surrealism, lowbrow, whatever you want to call that art world when I was still, just doing surf graphics.
Wow. Well, I gotta say, at least in my, let's say, 15 years of trying to, play push the envelope of surf music, I've always been honored to be taken in by the tiki community for about the last decade. It's been amazing to always see you and a handful of others as the diehard artists that really make sure that you're consistent and that you're continuously there and that you're a part of the art shows and you're always pushing that envelope further. So I on a personal level, I never told you this, and I'd like everyone to know that you're always just a pleasant disposition when I see you. It doesn't matter if it's the Sunday night at Oasis and you guys are tearing down and you're just thrashed, and because you've seen me get off of doing 3 shows a day and I'm just thrashed. But you generally you've got this great, pleasant disposition that.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, most of my life is spent here in this little space here. My easel's right here, and this tabaret thing is my, that's where I keep all my paint. So I'm in this space, most of my life. So when I go out to those shows and I'm hearing, the soundtrack to Tiki, which is you guys and the other bands, and I'm getting to talk to people that buy my art, that's like gravy for me. I'm having so much fun, just getting out in the world and getting to hear music and see people and people watching and getting inspired by all my fellow artists. So I'm completely high on endorphins when you see me at those events.
Who are some of your, art-wise, who are some of your direct influences? I don't know if I see a little bit of Robert Williams in there.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, because you've got your own modern take on everything.
I can go and show you the books. Well, no, I mean, originally, my huge influences were the artists like Don Martin and those guys from Mad Magazine, and Rick Griffin, both his cartoons and his paintings. And then as I got into art school, I learned about, fine artists, historical fine artists. So, there were artists like John Singer Sargent and, Van Gogh and a lot of sort of narrative artists throughout, Andrew Wyeth, artists throughout history that sort of had a native bent to their art. But then when I got into the surf world, a magazine called Juxtapose came out, and that was like mind-blowing because I was exposed to new influences like Robert Williams, as you said, and then also other guys that were doing a lot of kitsch artists at the start, like in the early 2000s, like Mark Ryden and Glenn Barr and Todd Shore and the Piz, who was a huge influence and also very encouraging with my career early on, which I really appreciate. And just there was a lot of hot rod artists like Von Franco and Keith Wiesner and Mitch O'Connell. He was more of a tiki guy. Quite frankly, the two artists that I think are most influential on me now are Doug Horn and Ken Ruzick. And I can be very disparaging about those guys when you see my posts on Facebook, but they're heroes, man. Those guys they're both brilliant artists in their own way and are incredibly prolific and deservedly very beloved in the tiki world.
So Tom, you and I got to have a good talk this March at an event that you were vending, and that was really cool. And I was able to pick up a copy of this amazing new book that I am so stoked on, and it was kind of the idea why I really wanted you on the show. It actually sits on my baby brand here. I think it looks good on a black baby brand. But more importantly, great talk that we had, and gotta give it to Tom. He'll always give you a really cool little liner, shout out signatures. My wife and I, she's dancing, and there's me. But more importantly, my big question is, this is a nice book, man. I mean, this is a really nice book. Everything's just so well done. And tell us about the journey of Gratisfaction. I mean, finding a publisher, choosing the right pieces that you wanted. I mean, this book really feels curated to me, because I've got all your stickers and all the other stuff, which is cool. But this felt like I got a little bit more, for me as a musician, to be fair, not an art collector per se. This felt like I got a little bit more of a piece of you from the last 5 years. So tell us what it was like. Publishing, everything. We want to know.
So going back a few years, I work with reference photos from a lot of different photographers. And one of my particular favorites is a Central California photographer, consummate professional, amazing hot rod and pinup photographer named Shannon Brooke. And she is absolutely one of my, she's an amazing artist and a beautiful person in and out. And she has a couple books of her photography and hot rod art that were published by an independent publisher in Wisconsin. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Wisconsin?
Yeah, Wisconsin.
Called Working Class Publishing. I sent them most of the artwork that I'd done for the past decade, and they picked the things they liked. And there was a number of, some of my, I think, most important paintings that didn't work out for one reason or the other in this book. So, but I think that the book is curated by, paced and designed so beautifully by them. And I couldn't be more appreciative of the amazing job that they've done. I feel blessed and honored and humbled that, Bob and Kelly chose to, birth my baby. What is they're my art doula. We put the tiki art at the front end and the hot rod, custom culture, pinup, stuff at the back, and surf sort of interspersed, because the surf kind of is the word interleaving between the tiki and the hot rod, because those three lifestyles are sort of the three. This is going to sound stupid, but those are like the three last vestiges of outlaw culture in Southern California. The surfers, the tiki people, and the hot rod people are like, the iconoclasts in our, $10 coffee culture here in Southern California. And they do an amazing job with a bunch of different pinup artists. So please do go check out workingclasspublishing.com. And that's where you can also pick up my book, Gratisfaction, the unaspirational art of Big Toe. The best place to keep up with what's going on in the Big Toe art world is through my Instagram page, which is Big Toe Art on Instagram. And then I also have a Facebook page that is essentially the same content, which is Big Toe Productions, if you're not on Instagram.
Again, Tom, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's really important that we had you for episode 3. We know you've been tuning in. So again, man, it means a lot. We're honored that we could have Big Toe himself on this episode.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff, Big Tiki Dude, and we're back with some more. We just finished it up right there with the Tiki Orchestra, and they were influenced by the Blue Hawaiians, which we played before. That was their song Black Sand, Blue Sea. And then up next we have Northern California's Aqua Velvets with Return to Paella. Hey, we're back again. This is Jeff, Big Tiki Dude, and we're talking about the mix of surf music and tiki and how they kind of cross over. What we played there was The Return to Paella by the Aqua Velvets from Northern California. There's a lot of bands that have kind of specialized in doing this mix, so I could have gone on and on and on. But we have one more band here, and it's international. They're kind of from South America and also Germany. It's the Los Twang Marvels and Space Tiki Twist. Okay, we're back. This is Jeff, Big Tiki Dude, and we're talking about the mix of tiki music and surf music and how they kind of go together. And we finished it up there with Los Twang Marvels with Space Tiki Twist. Have a good one. Cheers. Aloha.
Is that far-off eruption and crashing surf a mere mirage?
The legend of an enchanted mythical island has captured the heart of many oceanic explorers.
But this tropical island has evaded all those searching for it.
It's the mythical home of hula girls, volcanoes, and exotic drinks.
It's a place of abundance and joyous comfort.
After searching the 7 seas, the secret island has finally emerged.
It's a Polynesian paradise in Long Beach.
We're celebrating Pele, the Hawaiian goddess of fire and volcanoes.
Revel in this mysterious grotto with fine food and liquid libations merged with the sound of the islands.
Enjoy its atmosphere of contentment and joy.
More than an illusion, Secret Island is tiki authenticity at its finest.
Meet our ambassadors of Aloha with a craft cocktail in hand.
Enjoy the tempting tastes and potent potions of Secret Island.
Guaranteed to relax your inhibitions.
By now, you've been thoroughly immersed in tiki music and culture. We hope you recognize how important it is to help our musicians pay their bills. and you can support them by clicking over to StellarJAX.com or on Venmo at Jax Hideaway. If you missed any of our past shows, see them on YouTube at our channel, StellarJAX, JAX. And please, take 1 second to subscribe to StellarJAX. There's more good stuff coming every Sunday on our noon matinees, Pacific Daylight Time, broadcasting on both Facebook and on YouTube. Mahalo!